Welcome back to International Scale Modeler. I'm Lee. Today we're going to do another review of one of the new Star Wars series from Bandai. This is a Darth Vader, Dark Lord of the Sith in 1/12 scale. I've got to say, out of the three that I've bought, which is the X-Wing, the TIE Advanced Fighter and Darth Vader, this is the one I'm really looking forward to building. As you know, I'm a huge fan of Darth Vader. I just think he's so cool. When I was a kid, he made such an impact on me. It was fantastic. So I really have got an affinity with Darth Vader. Not in a nasty way, obviously. I don't use the dark side of the Force. But as you can see, box art, very good. There's nothing you can do wrong with Darth Vader, to be honest with you. On the box itself, you can see that we've got it's a posable figure and in several different ways, and in fact with his head off and things like that, which is brilliant. Different arms, I think, by the looks of it, and a lightsaber. On the other side, again, you've got a picture here of him. You can pose him stood like that, with it all like that, or whatever. So, so let's have a look inside the box. There's actually, believe it or not, quite a bit of plastic in there. I'll just pop this up there. So I'm going to start with. Now they're all in individual bags. Well, no, there's two sheets in this bag, two sprues in this bag. So we're just going to pop this out. Let's get rid of those. Okay, now again, as with all Bandai kits, these are meant to be snapped together. I've seen these once they are snapped together, and to be honest with you, they're not too bad. They seem a bit clunky, a bit plasticky, but I think it's just because it's really shiny and they've got scratch marks on there, so they don't look as good as you could possibly make them. But the Sprue itself, I mean, obviously a very important part is his helmet here, and it's very, very well moulded. It's clean, it's crisp. As with all their kits, there's not even a hint of flash or burr or any such thing at all. But it is all clipped together. Personally, as I said last time, I'm going to just sand down the male parts around the edge very quickly, so that they're not too tight when I'll test fit everything. So I'm going to test fit these before I glue them for sure. So we're having a look here, and then we've got, obviously he's got his face mask. Let's zoom you in a bit so you can have a look, bit better look. You then got his face mask there as well, which you don't realise how far that sticks out. It's quite a large profile on it. And the helmet is fantastic, as you can see there. And we've got, it looks like his greaves and everything there. And we go part of his back. I think that's part of the back as well. Some shoulder pads, and sort of like a upper breastplate, I think that is. And obviously I did see a thing of his head. I think that might be part of his head, which is fantastic. I don't know until we have a proper look at everything. But then you've got his control panel for the front of him there. That's brilliant. There's some really good detail on that. It's very nicely raised, so you're going to be able to pick that out. I don't know if you can get a profile shot on that. As you can see there. So you're going to get a profile, you can do that as well. And you've obviously got his thing with his lightsaber. Now I'm sure that someone will come up with a little LED kit that you could maybe drill up into his arm, and you can have this all lit up, which would be absolutely brilliant. And I think that will probably happen at some point, or someone will do that. You've then got the second sprue that's in the first bag, and again you've just basically got items of clothing like his legs and all bits and bobs that are obviously going to be on show, shoulders, movable joints, his hands. He's got very clappy hands there, and he's got a clenched fist, a couple of clenched fists there as well. So it looks like you're going to have several options to choose from and everything on there. But again, the texture is very good. It's going to take, I think you've got to be a proper figure painter to do this. But the good thing is, because he is a solid black, it's going to be a case of putting the base down and then working up to the shininess from the base. And parts of him are shiny, parts aren't. But I mean, to me, it's like this helmet is just a little bit too shiny, and I wouldn't make it that shiny. I'd make it more satiny. That's very glossy. So I think we'll make it probably a bit more realistic once you get to work on it. Now, again, got two sprues in this one. You've got his cloak, obviously, and some side segments to the cloak. Now, I have seen on YouTube that his cloak opens up to the sides and everything, so that you can have it billowing, or you can have it laying down normally. And as you can see from this other sprue, you've got these little fixture points here which go onto these part here, so you can have this sort of goes over the top, so you can have it billowing, or you've got like a short cape there as well. So it'll be interesting to see when we look in the instructions. We'll have a quick look. And then you've got his feet, obviously his shoes, soles of his feet. I'd be tempted to add just a little bit of detail there. You've also got some things for his utility belt. Again, if you have a look on his utility belt, it's got like I think it's probably a contact box or control box for something or other. But again, you'll be able to pick those out and everything, so make those look nice. But I think it's going to be very hard to, oh, you like saber holders and everything there. It's going to be very hard to make that look really good, because it's not like a resin figure where you can really go to town on it. But the good thing is you can pose it, and if you can get the right shades of black and the right consistency with the gloss coat and things like that, then you're going to pull it off. But it's not going to be an easy one to do this, because there's about three. Well, there's a matte, a satin, and a gloss all over his entire persona, really, his person. So it's going to be very tricky, and you've got to pull off this sort of thing. It's not really fabric; it's like a leathery. You know, his costume is like a leathery fabric. It's going to be very difficult, I think. It's going to be a real challenge to do this. And this is probably going to be one of the last ones I do, I must say. So we've also got in here, we've obviously got his stand, which is very simple indeed, as you can see. I'd be tempted to maybe add to that some greebles and odds and sods, bits and parts from other kits. You can just give that some a little bit of oomph and make it look a little bit nicer than just a plain black stand. So I think that needs doing. And then we've got one here, and this looks like all the joints and everything. I would say these are all the movable joints and things like that. Yeah, because they're well, that's a very strange stuff. They're more of a rubber, but they're more plastic than rubber. How strange, very weird feel. So these are obviously definitely all the joint parts that move and things like that. But they're like a rubbery. It's like very strange. I can't explain it. It's like a plastic that's slightly rubber rather than rubber that's slightly plastic. Very strange. Very different. Right, okay. You've then got, as with all the Bandai kits, which I love, you've got two sets of transfers. You've got a normal sticker transfer set, which is obviously if you're just building it to display or for kids and things like that, you've got something you can do instantly. You can put that on there and stick it all on. You've then got something a little bit more decal wise for us modelers. I'm just going to zoom in on that, and as you can see, you've got these black I would imagine epaulets or something like that. It goes over his shoulder maybe, and obviously for the control panels and things like that, obviously we're not going to use any of these, to be honest with you. May use these gold bits because I think they're the catches that go that attach his mask to his head, so I think they may be, and it'll be very hard to reproduce. But again, as with the other Bandai ones, these are like old decals. You know, they're a little bit raised, and the transfer film goes way over the decal on this. So those will definitely trim, but because they're squares, they're going to trim up really easy. Literally, you can just cut it right up against the colour, and it won't be a problem. But everything else, you can see, I think that's probably part of the lightsaber, his walkie-talkie or communicator or whatever it is. I think these will all be painted, to be honest with you. I don't think there's the only decals I use are probably those on his head and everything. But apart from that, it's still nice to have them because obviously you can pick which way you want to do this kit. That's what I like about them. They're very diverse and flexible. Okay, instructions as per the other ones. They're a satin feel. There'll all be one piece, a couple of scenes from the movie and everything on there. And obviously a built-up picture of Darth himself, and I think that looks quite good. But again, it just looks a little bit too shiny for me. It just definitely needs a bit of work. I think it's like his cloak. You can see here where over his shoulder, his bits of the cloak, where it wouldn't have this in real life. So I think that's I'm gonna try and put his cloak together into one piece, like this one, as you can see here. I mean, that's one piece, and that's what I want it to look at. I'm not going to keep taking once I've built him, I'm not going to keep taking his clothes off and alter his poses and things like that. So I'm going to put him in the pose that I want to keep him in, and then glue him in all together and everything. So let's have a look at the instructions as we go through here. Again, as we learned, we've got a numbered sprue map, which is good, nice to see, so you can take everything off and then not lose where it's meant to be. And the instructions themselves, as with all the others, one long bit of paper. I won't go through instructions too well, they're quite self-explanatory. And obviously these PC bits are all the joint parts and things like that, so you've got to build it up. Again, with the joint parts, because they're this rubber plastic, a normal glue is not going to work with them. And to be honest with you, looking at this, the way it all goes together, I don't think I'm going to be able to glue those joints together anyway. Because I won't know, it'll be very difficult to put them in the right pose, glue them, and then put the arms on top and things like that. So, got to be very careful. There might be a lot of test fitting and things like this. But as you can see, very easy to understand instructions, and they're obviously built for kids and things like that as well, which is brilliant. You then got you got this colour part at the end where it's saying you pop the cloak on, and as you can see, it's his lower skirt, the tool ones, of course. Again, I'm going to, with regards to these, I'm going to actually, I'm going to fill that. I'm going to fill those bits. I don't have to worry about his lower skirt because you won't see it inside, but this I'm going to fill. I'm going to fill and sand down and make it look all one piece for sure. And again, the base has got this footprint on there where you can put him in, which you have to glue on this little segment here, as you can see. You've then got the posable stick here, so you can pose him, stand him up so he doesn't fall over and things like that, so just gives him a bit of stability. And then finally, on the back, you've then got obviously your transfer points and all this lot, and you've got a nice colour guide, different shades of, obviously I don't know what paints they're saying you're using, but so 90% of that, 10% of that one, so obviously being Bandai, I think they might use guns actually, so that'll be interesting. If that's the case, then I just need to get a translation of that, which we can get obviously with your Google Translate and everything. But again, you can see how it poses up, and you can see these little stickers on the head here, and they definitely need trimming up the decals before you put them on, that's for sure. But apart from that, I like it. I think it looks fantastic. I love Darth. I think it could probably look a bit better. I've got to say, it does look a little bit toy looking at this, and a bit clunky. You've got all these joints here that aren't going to be right. So it's just basically a case of whether you want to go to town on it. But I think to go to town on it's going to take a lot of work, indeed. So that may be a labour of love, that one. But overall, again, another good kit from Bandai. I think that what they're doing with these kits are great because they are open to everyone. They are flexible. You can just pop them together, put them and play with them, or you can put them in a display case, or you can spend a little bit of time as a modeler and go to town on them. Maybe do a little bit more than with it than might be possible. There's lots of things there to do. So I think we've got C3PO and R2D2 to come out next as well, and they're all 1/12 scale, so that's good. So they're all going to be in the same scale and everything. But again, I think that one's probably a 7.5 to an 8 out of 10. Not quite as high as the other ones, but still a thumbs up. I do like the idea that what Bandai have come up with there, and I'm going to continue buying. I'll probably get the whole range for sure. So that's a good one for me. So until next time, take care. Bye bye.